Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome. I'm going to show you the Winter Wonder collection. This is the card kit from the Stamps of Life November 2023. There's these adorable stickers. There is this beautiful silver foil cardstock. You get 3 sheets of those. That's beautiful. There is some gorgeous ribbon, silver ribbon. Here is some cute little snowflakes. There's some little pre-tied ribbons. There are some word dies, Winter Wonder with the die word and then the shadow. And then you always get a card, in the card kit you get some envelopes for mailing. There's also a storage envelope that's about 8.5 by 11 that will hold your cardstock and then some of your elements from your card kit. And then I'm going to show you some of the cardstock included this month. The color palette, powdered sugar, I think that's Sky, Midnight, Blue Jay. We've got some Pixie, which is a light purple, and then Candy, which is a beautiful pink, one of my favorite pinks. And I'm going to make several cards, but before I start that, I want to show you the rest that's included. There's an A1 scalloped die set, so it's a little bit smaller than an A2 card, and I'm going to work with that for sure. Okay, so let me flip through the paper pad. It's got 24 pages. They are double-sided, and this coordinates with the Skating to Winter. I had to think of the name. Skating to Winter. And these dies that are, if you're a club member, you've gotten these. These will work with a couple of the elements from the paper pad, and then the other elements go with the More Skating to Winter, which is an add-on die set. So I'm just going to show you quickly how that works. So I'm going to pull these paper pad apart and I'll get those pages out. So there'll be 4 of those pre-printed pages. And then I'm just going to show you the rest of the patterns. These cute trees and then that fun font, Winter Wonder. And then it's going to start over again. Okay. So a beautiful paper pad. I love the color choices in there. And then on the front of the paper pad too, it will have the names of the colors, and that way, so if you run out of paper, you can get more, or you know what coordinates and works with the paper pad if you are a Stamps of Life fan, and you may have some already in your craft stash. Okay, so I'm just showing you, I'm running through, I tape down my my dies so they don't move in my little machine, and you can see you get this cute little fox that's ice skating, and then this adorable bunny, and then there are a couple of hats with that. So I'm just going to cut all of those out, and then I'll have all of these elements to use to create some of my cards. So I'm just going to put it all into this little storage tray, and that way I can kind of contain myself if that's possible. Okay, so I'm going to begin with my first card here. I've got these peekaboo dies. There are a couple of different sets. This is the round one, the circle one. I think there's a rectangle one and then a square one. And then I'm using one of the word dies from it. This one says open, and I'll link all that in the description. I'm not sure which one the open comes from, if it's the circle or the rectangle or the square. But there's, in each set, there's a little word die. One of them says lift, and I can't remember what the other one says. But there's some choices, so you have a lot of flexibility if you have multiples of them. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to continue to cut my little peekaboos. I love this die set. I love to put a card together and have my little friends underneath, or you could do flowers, you could do anything that would fit underneath. And there are different sizes of these circles too. I'm only showing you a couple of them, but there's some bigger ones as well. So it's just a fun element to use on your cards. Okay, I'm going to trim down some of this pixie to put behind my card front, and that way I'll be able to see my friends. You could just, glue it directly onto a white card base. You don't have to layer it if you don't want to, but I kind of want them to pop out, and so I'm going to choose to put that purple behind there. And I'm just trimming my card down. I'm trying to remember what size I have cut. So I'll go ahead and say that these are A2 sized cards, most of them, except for the one that I'm going to make with the card base, which will be A1. So an A2 finished size card is 4¼ by 5½. So my top layer is a little bit smaller with the peekaboo on there. All right, now I'm going to work on gluing the back of my panel on there, and I'm just trying to decide how I want to do this. Sometimes I have done it where I will mark it like this. I didn't really need to in this case because I'm not going to pop it up or anything, so it's going to glue directly on there. But sometimes I like to have that for a reference point, and then I can always erase that little pencil mark. Okay, so I'm just adding some glue here, and then I will make sure that that panel is secure on the back. If needed, I could go back and add a little bit more glue around the circles if it's not laying down just right, but it worked out pretty well. Okay, now I'm going to lift this up just a tiny bit to fit my little skating bunny in there, and then I will add some of these cute penguins in there. Just so fun. And then I've got that third one, and I'm just trying to decide which one I want to add. Okay, so I've got a little piece of the candy cardstock here. I'm going to cut this and add it behind the open just to let that word pop out. You could, if you wanted to, where that I've added that pink, you could go back in and fill in the word in black if you wanted to, if it doesn't show up enough for you. In person, it shows up pretty well. It may not show as well on camera, but you can clearly see it. So I didn't go back and add the extra letters in there, but it does cut out the letters. So if you wanted to add a little more contrast, you certainly could. All right, so I've layered onto a piece of candy, and now I'm going to put this onto a powdered sugar card base. Super, super cute. So the recipient hopefully will recognize they've got to lift their little flaps with the one that tells them to open them. And then I've gotten a little bit of red line tape here, and I'm going to add that to the back of my snowflakes. And then I did cut, you'll see on to the left, my little tray is full now. I have cut a bunch of trees. I also had the little pond that I'm going to use. There's a pond and tree set that I'm going to use a little later. So I just sat in front of the TV watching some, catching up on some shows, and I cut a bunch of trees in different colors and put them together. So I'll have extra ones. And here I have stamped warm wishes in peacock. And then I'm going to add one more little skating bunny rabbit there. So cute. All right, so that's the first card. All right, moving on, I've got another piece of patterned paper here, and I'm just going to create another fun scene of these skating friends. And I love that snowflake paper. If you're like me, you have a hard time letting go of cute paper, and the Stamps of Life patterned paper pads are always pretty cute. So I always just struggle. And snowflakes, the funny thing is, where I live, it's very, very warm, and we rarely see any kind of snow. It is a big anomaly if we do, and it makes a big problem and headache because we are not prepared for any kind of real winter weather. Now, we did live in Colorado for a few years, and many, many moons ago, and we got plenty of snow there, and so we got our fill of the winter wonder. But it was always so much fun, and where we lived in Colorado, you know, it could be a blizzard, and then a few hours later it would be sunny and beautiful. So the weather could change quickly on you, and you had to be prepared. So I don't miss driving in the snow, but I definitely miss the beauty of the snow. It was always so beautiful out there. Okay, so I'm getting my little scene. Here's that little pond that I mentioned. Here are the word dies that are included in the kit, the Winter Wonder, and I'm going to pop them up with a little bit of foam tape here above my little critters who are skating on some frozen lake. And I have ice skated before. I'm not very good at it. I actually prefer to roller skate. At least I did many, many moons ago when I was younger. I can ice skate. I'm not the best. And falling on the ice definitely does not feel good. But we do have a little skating rink here that occasionally we go to. All right, it's indoor, obviously. Okay, so finishing up that one, I'm moving on to an A1. This is that cute die set that is included, card die set that is included in this card kit, making this kit a tremendous value because you get a full card base. And so I'm using the scalloped piece on here, and I'm just going to lay this on top. It punches out the little holes on the side. It just has a lot of fun elements in it. And then I'm going to add a few more of my little wintry critters here. And I'm just going to glue these directly onto my card. I like this size because it's great for a little kind of enclosure note, or you can mail it. It's just a little bit smaller, but it just makes a fun size card. And these little creatures fit on here just right. So I've got a couple of the hats here that I'm going to glue directly on there once I get them into place. And then I've got a little, I took a rectangle die and I cut it out in white, and then I stamped my sentiment on there. You could just trim it down, but it helps me have a more straight edge. I tend to cut my paper a little crooked sometimes. And so I just started with the rectangle and then kind of just trimmed it down and stamped my image. So that's why that rectangle die is sitting there. So wishing you frosty fun. Like I said, I won't see any frost probably or snow in my area this year unless things just line up just right. I'm always jealous of my friends who get the snow, but like I said, I've lived in it and I know that it can be kind of exhausting because you really have to think about travel and getting around, and we never had snow tires where we lived for 3 years. We just never got to it, and we had a few little ending up in the ditch a couple times and had a few little scares, but thankfully we made it through okay. All right, so now I've got this cute little pond. I'm going to take some of my Stickles glitter glue. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I love some glitter glue. And this is the diamond, one of my favorite colors. This is always in my craft room available. And then I'm just going to do a couple of trees too. I'm going to do one of these trees and let it dry. So this is a fun way to add a little bit of glitz to your trees. And like I said, we lived where it snowed, and I always thought the snow was so beautiful. It really did have that sparkle. And I think the diamond really catches that for you. Okay, so let me start putting this together. My pond is dry, and I am going to glue this directly onto my card. And then I've got all these fun trees. So again, I just spent some time cutting these out in different colors, using this palette, but just kind of layering them. And then I'm going to select some of these to add to my card. I am going to put this winter on the top, and then I have glued all my trees down. And now that's so pretty with that sparkle. I'm going to add one little friend on here. I'm going to pop him up. He is obviously skating on a cute rink. All right, so another quick and easy card. I'm back again with this A1 card base, and I have cut a piece of the rounded to go behind, a rounded cardstock, I should say, with the rounded corners to go around behind that little snowflake. Now I'm doing my card a little differently because I wanted that rounded edge on the front, and I'm going to have the scallops in the back. And you know, that's the flexibility of making your own cards. If something doesn't work for you or you want something different, then just change it up. So I decided that I wanted it to look this way without the scallops in the front. So I just made that decision and switched it up. I've got a few more trees here that I'm going to glue onto this beautiful little snowy scene, and then I'll put that other tree in the middle. I'm going to add a little bit of foam since it's kind of going on top of them, and I want it to be a little bit above the two of those that are glued onto my cardstock. So cute. And then I need to add a little hat here. I'm just using the little blue one that works with the tones of my trees. Okay, how cute. And he's just out skating around looking for something fun. And then I'm going to directly apply the winter word onto this card without the shadow. Okay, moving along. I've got another one here. I cut another base of the A1, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I wanted this shape, and I decided to trim that apart because I want to make a pocket. So I was thinking this would be a fun tag or something like that, just something different. And so I trimmed a piece of this mint chip, and I'm going to trim it a couple of times because why on earth would I bother to measure my cardstock and then just, instead I'm just going to keep going back and forth until it fits. And I think I end up getting to about 2 3/4 of the width to make sure that it would fit into my pocket. I think that's going to work at this point. And so I'm going to move on to the front of my card, or my tag, I should say. I'm going to score down 1 inch from the top, and I'm just going to I'm going to glue this down. So it's going to kind of look like a pocket, which is what I was going for. And I'm just going to apply some dry adhesive there. And then I'm going to need to come back and run a little bit more of a dry adhesive on my edges. I used a very thin strip. This is from, I don't remember what company, maybe Elizabeth Crafts. They've got some adhesive that I've had for years. And you should run this pretty close to your side. My first piece, I didn't pay any attention. And so it wasn't quite as close as it should be, but it's going to work. So anyway, I'm going to use my pokey tool here to peel my liner off, and then I will add this onto the front of that little rounded rectangle piece. And I just got to clean up my area, and I will stick this down, and then I'm going to take my bone folder here and rub really, really well so that red line tape will stick really, really well. Okay, and so now I'm ready to put my little tag together, but hold on, I've got to go back and trim a little more. So now I'm down to about 2.5. Once I glued it, it needed to come down just a little bit more. Okay, and there we go. And then I'm going to trim down just a little bit the height so it will fit in my pocket. And then I can trim that down one more time. You can tell this is what happens. I really don't plan a lot of things often. I'm just kind of working on the fly. All right, I found a hole punch that I wanted to use, and I'm just going to punch the top of this, making this into a tag. So I think this would be really fun to make for Thanksgiving, just something different. If you don't already have like a tag set, you could put this, do this in kind of a fall theme, or even birthday or something like that. And you could make the little tags, and then you could put a note in there so the recipient can pull it up. Maybe you could write a word of thanks that they're there to spend the holidays with you, or something you love about them, their friendship, their place in their life with you. Just something sweet like that I think would be fun. And so I think I might do that for my holiday table. But back to this card, sorry. So birthday hugs, I'm going to turn this one into a birthday tag. So again, just thinking outside the box a little bit. I knew I wanted to do something a little bit different with this, and I came up with this little pocket tag idea. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I added the little finished bow on top. Okay, so here is that little peekaboo card I created with the warm wishes. We've got this glittery pond for skating on in the winter. Here's the winter wonder, kind of a nighttime theme with that beautiful darker cardstock. And then here is the cute A1 wishing you frosty fun. Here's that one just turned the opposite way with the scallops in the back. And then finally, here is that little tag, pocket tag that I created using the A1 card base. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. I thank you so much for watching. If you have any details on the card kit or any of the clubs from Stamps of Life, check out the details. I've got everything linked in there, or leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'm wishing you a happy winter season. Have a great day.